Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode here on the Do Something podcast. On this episode, we're going to be talking about a little known brain hack that can help you make positive changes in your life. And if you're wondering why I'm standing out here in the freezing cold at night, make sure to watch to the end to see what our 1% are going to be. Finally, we're trying to hit 100 subscribers here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to show us some support and enjoy the video.
Welcome to this episode. On this episode today, we're going to be talking about something that we've been really interested in for quite a while. This is something that we've done in the past that I've definitely seen improvements in like my workflow and my lifestyle, my mindset and everything. And that is affirmations. If you guys aren't too familiar with affirmations, I'm going to let Camden explain it because he has a great quote as explaining affirmations here. So
I was looking the webs to find the best definition that I could find. And this is the definition here. Affirmations are positive statements that can help you to change and overcome self-sabotaging and negative thoughts. Repeating them makes you believe them and makes positive changes to your life. It is literally a superpower that your mind has control of.
So you might be thinking like, okay, how do you actually implement affirmations? Like, how do you do them? Basically, in my experience, I have like a list of things that like before bed or like in the morning or when I have time, free time to focus on myself for a little bit. I run through this list that I have and I edit it like every couple months, but basically the list of like is just simple sentences of things I want to improve on. And in a way, kind of tricking my mind into thinking I am those things. Like, for example, if you don't know, I'm kind of like a shy person. Like it's hard for me to like be very extroverted. I might seem on video, but in reality, I'm a little introverted when it comes to socializing with other people. But affirmations is definitely something that has helped me with that. Basically, I have like a line that says, I am a fun person to meet, or something similar to that. It's like, I am a very social person, just a very short quote. Another thing is like, I am the happiest person in the room, or those are just examples of things that you constantly just keep on repeating yourself. You repeat and you repeat and you repeat until you start believing it. And it's not like you do it one time and then, wow, I feel like better all of a sudden. I am this new person. I've tricked my brain into all this amazing thing, but it's something that you do consistently. And after long periods of time, you will start to believe it. Like, believe it or not, like our minds are very easily manipulated. If you think about it, like there's this saying, like as a kid, you've definitely heard it before, but it's like, think happy thoughts. Think happy thoughts. And that's basically like an affirmation to you. It's like you think happy thoughts and then you become happy. You don't feel as sad anymore. And that's basically what affirmations are, but it's more of a process. It definitely takes longer. Yeah. But it's just an incredible tool in order to use to like fix your mindset and like, especially like set goals and really like, it's like a driving force to actually like achieving them for sure. It's it's definitely helped me get from A to B multiple times. But yeah, that's kind of like affirmations are, and how you can start is just like writing those small, like quotes to yourself and repeating them over and over again.
Yeah, I definitely have something to add on to that. So what he said is great. Writing down some things that you strive for yourself and keep that up, and then hopefully it will come true. But also, another way you can use affirmations to trick your mind is actually by writing down your core values before a stressful event. There's this study done by David Creswell, and what he did is he took people that were going to give a speech in front of a lot of people. It's a very stressful event. And so half the people he told to just go up and give the speech. The other half, he told to write down their core values on a sheet of paper before they went up and gave the speech. And then they were tested afterwards, and the people that gave the speech after writing their core values actually had lower cortisol levels, and that means less stress, and they were able to feel more confident when they spoke. So basically, just like that's just another way of tricking your mind. That's another use of affirmations. And I think that's also equally helpful, just getting through the day, because if you think you're going through something tough, right? You write down what your core values are. Maybe what you're going through isn't quite as big as it seems, if that makes sense. If you write down your core values, let's say my family loves me, or I have great friends, or I mean, whatever some really important traits to you are, like that can make you feel so much better going into a stressful situation.
Yeah, it's basically like just like positive thinking, like always having positive thoughts, if that makes sense. It's like you've had experience with affirmations in the past, correct?
Yeah.
Do you kind of want to explain like what your process was in doing affirmations?
Yeah, so this affirmations was a bit different. So in high school, or not high school, I was in 8th grade, even younger. Little Professor Camden came up with this experiment. The whole idea was mind over body. And so what I did is I sat down on my bed, same time, every single day for like 10 minutes or 7 minutes, something like that. And I measured my temperature from my finger, and then however long later, I would measure it again and see if there was a change. But what I would do during that time is I would think of like warm thoughts, whatever that meant to me. And that actually ended up changing my temperature 2 degrees Fahrenheit every single time, because I was thinking of warm thoughts. And so that's just, again, another example. You can change your mind. You can change your physical being in so many ways just by using your mind. And that's just another example. That's not necessarily positive thoughts, but that just goes to show the impressive use of your mind and where that can take you. I mean, take Wim Hof, for example.
Wim Hof. I've been talking about Wim Hof for probably like a solid like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Like I knew exactly who he was like for the longest time. Then I saw a couple of videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to try like what he's talking. But Wim Hof, if you don't know who Wim Hof is, you might have seen him on a documentary before. You definitely have heard about him once before, but his nickname is the Iceman. Iceman. So basically what he is known for is he's been able to like withstand these incredible sub-zero like temperatures with no effect on his body whatsoever. And if you read up on him, it's actually very interesting. Like you wonder, it's like, oh, maybe he's just like different. Like he's built different than all of us, right? Maybe he's built different, but no, like he has been consistently been able to train like regular people like me and you. And they are also able to withstand these amazing conditions, like these sub-zero conditions. But basically his whole thing, like his whole theory is, actually you said it before, it's mind over matter. It's mind over matter. So basically what he does is like he teaches you like these breathing techniques and these focusing techniques, like how to calm your mind pretty much. And after you're able to do that, you're able to withstand a lot more. I was actually just reading about like, I was just seeing a video about Wim Hof. And so basically he did this study where he was underwater. Like it was actually very similar to what you did with the fire thing, but he was with the thermometer thing. He was underwater under like ice water for about like 80 minutes or so, if I'm correct. And they tested like how cold he was on the surface of his skin, and he was pretty dang cold. But they measured like his internal body heat, and it was like standard level. Like he was not shivering. It was standard levels. There was literally nothing impacting, which is kind of incredible to think that it's literally your mind that is able to process like these feelings or like what your body is going through and then adapt to it. That's pretty much what it is, mind over matter. Like his method pretty much for like how he's able to like withstand the cold is literally like don't think you're cold. That's pretty much simplistically is like, just don't think you're cold. And like, I think everybody's kind of done that. Like you're walking outside and then you're just shivering, right? You're just, you're really cold. And then you think you just stop, you take a big breath and you say, I'm not cold. And then you're like able to not shiver for a little bit.
Yeah.
You've done that before?
Yeah.
I think everybody can relate to that, but that's basically what it is. And it's just taking that to like the next level and actually, like he's been practicing this for a while.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
And the thing about this is, that obviously Wim Hof, he uses it for injections, like you said, and temperature. But your mind is so powerful, like that correlates over to just like happy thoughts.
Yeah,
it's like the same sort of thing. If you think happy thoughts, you actually change your perspective on the world to where you see things in a happier light. And it's crazy how impactful that is.
Yeah, and it definitely goes back to like cup half full, half empty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely. It's like, how do you see the world? Because how you see it will definitely every day. Like if you think every day, this world sucks or this person sucks or school sucks, like you're going to hate it because that's what you keep on telling yourself. But if you say, wow, I really enjoy school. I love life. I'm happy pretty much. Like I think it's like, a majority of the things is all up here. It's all up here. It's all in the head. And it's like, it's just how you view the world. Like world cup half empty, half full.
Yeah. I have this question for everyone listening. When was the last time you woke up thinking that it was going to be the best day of your life?
And then it was.
Well, even if it wasn't, but the thing is, like, it just stems down to our affirmations thing. Like it's your mindset. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
like if you don't give the day a chance, you wake up and you're like, oh, I have this big project today. It can't be that good of a day. I know that's honestly kind of how I frame my days sometimes.
Yeah.
I think through like, okay, well, how much work do I have this day? If I don't have that much work, okay, it might be a decent day. But the thing is, that's not the way to approach it. And that's definitely something that I need to continue to work on. But it's proven. There's so many studies done that like having this mindset changes your life. It changes your life.
And two, it's like it's been found like, okay, so there's been a pretty big studies done on affirmations too, like just to see like its effect on people. One thing that they notice is like people like the top 1%, like people who are pretty successful, one thing that they have in common is that they all do as some sort of affirmations too.
That makes sense.
Yeah, they because like if you think about it, it's like you have to prepare your mind for the stage that you want to be at. Like if you don't, like they call it like, for example, like millionaire mindset, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like if you don't have a quote unquote millionaire mindset, then it doesn't like you can't, it's hard. It's a lot harder to actually get there. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have a happiness mindset, it's 10 times harder to get there. If you're constantly thinking about like stress and anxiety and all these other things, like these negative things, it's like you bring that energy upon yourself, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to kind of be aware of how you're thinking and what you're thinking and how you can flip that the way you're thinking around to like these positive ideas and like these positive thoughts.
Yeah, I think another good affirmation to have that I just thought of is like if you find your mind wandering somewhere, think I'm living right now.
Yeah.
Like I am here right now. I don't need to worry about all these things that in the future or in the past. Like you are living right now, and that's a blessing. And so having affirmations like that, I think are also very important.
Yeah. And like, I have like a list of them. Like, okay, so basically my process is like when I have time, I pop in some headphones. I have like this little text to speech thing. So it's like Siri reads them out to me and I just think about it. I just like, I put my name. I say like, I am blank. I am this. I only do this. And it's basically like, I don't know. It's like when you wake up the next day or like when you continue with your day, it's just, what an amazing feeling. You're like, dang, I feel powerful. I feel motivated for sure. It's definitely recommend trying. It's not something that you can just do once and just stop.
Yeah.
It's like building muscle pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd necessarily be where I am today without that type of thinking. Because quite honestly, like if you think about it, and you can probably attest to this, like I guess my character, I'm not sure if that's like the right word, but I'm in a very different spot on how I carry myself now than I was in the previously, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think that has a lot to do with like affirmations, I think, because that's something I was able to work on, and then it's like and it's kind of like fake it till you make it, like in a way.
Yeah, and I also want to point out two things here. One, that it's not like an overconfidence thing. Like your confidence in yourself, it's not like we're not using affirmations to say, okay, go tell everyone that you're the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
but at the same time, it's like you have to be confident in yourself.
In yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what we're expressing. That's really important.
If you can't believe yourself and like what you want to do, then I don't think it's a lot harder, at least, to actually make things happen.
Who's going to believe it for you? No one's going to believe your mission for you. You have to believe it.
You have to believe it, yeah. That's the main message.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to stress is also that it's not really easy. Like, it is kind of tough. Like, in high school, towards the end of high school, I got really good at affirmations as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, I've been slacking on it, which is, I think, taking its toll. I think it's been showing that, like, how I see the world every once in a while, that I definitely need to work on my affirmations for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, it's like I definitely like dropped off. Like I definitely wasn't not doing them as much as I was doing them in the past. But the reason is because I've seen the results. Mm-hmm. I've gone into where I want to be. So now it's like time to upgrade, you know?
Yeah,
it's like,
I get you.
What is the next step that I want to reach, and how can I build my affirmations around that? That's the stage that I'm currently at. And I don't know, it's just a mindset. Like at the end of the day, it's like your mind controls what you do. And if you constantly tell yourself something, it's like, okay, your mind will subconsciously do it for you. Mm-hmm. It's like putting that foundation in place so that you can do stuff unconsciously. Mm-hmm. Like if, for example, if I want to, like, let's say set a goal of like, I want to save money. I want to budget. And you keep on telling me keep telling yourself, I'm a great saver. I'm great at spending my money and saving my money and everything. Subconsciously, like you're going to start doing actions that will lead to that result. So like, you're going to like start thinking subconsciously, like, okay, maybe I'm going to, or yeah, like I'm not going to spend money on this thing. You're more aware of it, mm-hmm. is to say, like you're just more aware. Mm-hmm. And if something like dieting too, it also works with dieting. If you say like, I'm a healthy person. I'm a healthy person. I eat like I am a very healthy person. You're subconsciously gonna start doing more healthy actions.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what affirmations are. It's like just driving your mind to the goal.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't believe us on this, I do have two experiments that I'd like to share, because it just shows the power that the mind has on your physical body. I don't know if you guys have heard of placebo effect, but there's also this thing called nocebo, which is the opposite. And basically there's this one case where this person was given a bunch of placebos, and he overdosed on the placebos and had very, very bad overdose reactions, and was rushed to the hospital and all these things. But at the end of the day, it was a placebo. So it was all in his mind, but at the same time, like, he did actually feel those terrible feelings, but it was all caused by his mind.
It's just how his mind interpreted it.
Yes, and same thing, but reverse for placebo effects. They've done placebo experiments on depression, and they've actually noticed a big difference. Like there's an increased region in your brain that's regulate stress, and also they have less depressive symptoms from just taking a placebo and thinking that it's a fast-acting antidepressant. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, those studies right there just show you that your mind is powerful enough to actually change how you feel, and you can see it. There's a lot of studies out there about it. So I just can't stress enough how important affirmations are.
It's basically like conditioning the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the best way to put it. It's like, yeah.
Like, imagine seeing a more colorful world than you see right now.
I love that.
That's what affirmations can do for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that statement because, that's exactly what it can do. Now, Alejandro is going to show you a clear-cut way to use affirmations in your life right now.
Definitely. So the best way to get started right now is, first off, choose a quiet place. Go somewhere where you can just really be with yourself and be able to focus. Block all outside noises. Somewhere where you can just think. Number two is if it's just like your first time meditating or doing affirmations, definitely keep it small. Keep it, maybe just think about 3 things that you want to improve on. And they have to be positive things about yourself, comments about your statements about yourself. For example, they can't be something negative like, I want to be a faster runner. That is not an affirmation. That is not positive thinking. It has to be, I am something like, I am the fastest runner. Like statements like those about yourself. And I highly recommend saying like, I am, or Alejandro is blank. And very short statements. And then those are just things like, let's say you choose 3, you just repeat them over and over yourself. Spend 5 minutes just repeating them to yourself. And then honestly, like at the end of it, like if you keep on thinking, like, let's say for example, 3 of them is like, I am a good person, I love my family, and I am always joyful. Like those 3 things, for example, you just repeat those things for 5 minutes in silence and really think about them. And then after that, you just pretty much go along with your day. But it has to be consistent. It has to be like every single night. You have to do this every single night. Because the more you do it, the more you start believing it. And the more you'll see improvements, and your mind will subconsciously start thinking that way. One thing I want to do right now is actually just read some of the affirmations that I have. So it kind of makes, so you can have like an example as to what you do. So I write them in my notes. And then I have a couple different ways to do it too, is like have somebody read them to you, like record yourself and have yourself like repeating them. That usually helps. So you don't have to, so you can always add more if that makes sense. But some affirmations that I have, just for example, is Alejandro always has a smile on his face and spreads joy to everyone he meets. That is my affirmation. Another one is Alejandro does not expect anything from anyone. If Alejandro wants something, he gets it himself. Nothing will be handed to him. Alejandro listens closely to every conversation and only speaks when there's something to be said. Those are just examples of like some affirmations I have. I have like a whole list, and literally it takes like around like 10 minutes for me. And I listen to it like 3 times. So it's definitely a process. And like a good thing that I do is like I fall asleep listening to my affirmations. It even gets it more in your subconscious. So that's my process. That's how I do it. But I encourage you to do it how whatever feels more comfortable for you, whatever works for you, especially. That's the quickest way to get started with affirmations, I think. Sweet. So now we're going to get into the 1% here on our podcast. And if this is your first time listening or you're unfamiliar with 1%, 1% are small actions to goals. So basically set a big goal, and what are like the one thing you can do every single day in order to get closer to that goal. So that's what a 1% is.
Yeah. And so after this episode, I come up with my 1%, and it is very tied to affirmations. I'm going to be doing affirmations every morning and night of every single day, but I'll explain what that looks like. For one, I want this affirmation to be in there every single time. Today is going to be the best day of my life. I want to have that in my affirmations every single time so I can focus on seeing the good out of my day. That's one. But another thing is, like Alejandro, I'm going to be writing these down so that I can continue to look at them. And I honestly want to try to make quite a few so I can, and record it so I can listen them back to myself like you do. So that's my 1%.
Yeah, that's your 1%. Yeah. And if you don't know already, we're going to be filming us doing our 1%. Like we love being we're going to be all talk, all action here. So basically, we're going to be filming ourselves doing like our 1%. And then you can go ahead and see that our update videos live on our Instagram. So make sure to follow us there. It's going to be do something.podcast on Instagram. So make sure to give that a follow so you can see us actually doing our 1%. And the reason I say that is because for my 1%, I am actually going to start what's called the Wim Hof method. We just talked about him earlier in the podcast, but the Wim Hof method is, and that's going to be the goal, like to do his method. If you're not familiar with the Wim Hof method, it's basically like these breathing techniques that you can do every so often that just help like soothe the mind or whatnot. But one other cool factor about it too is that it involves taking like freezing showers, and there's like a good like explanation as why you do that. It helps like the vascular system like wake up in the morning and whatnot. But it's something like super tough to do that I definitely want to work towards every single day. And like, how does that look like with a 1%? It probably starts with like, first off, learning the breathing techniques. And then after learning the breathing techniques, slowly working that way up to taking like those cold showers while doing those breathing techniques, because they work hand in hand until you're able just to jump in there. It's definitely, I've done it before. I've definitely taken like cold showers before just to like, I don't know, it sounds weird, but just to like prove myself like I can like push through these mental barriers. So I've done it before. I'm somewhat experienced in it. But I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it live, not live on Instagram, but you'll see those update videos on Instagram. So make sure to follow us there. That's a big one, but you can catch me doing that for sure.
You know what? I also would like to hop on that.
You're going to hop on that too?
I will do it. I was
it.
thinking through, I'm like, oh, this is going to be so tough, but you know what? Do something.
Do something. Right? Like, it's about breaking those mental barriers.
Exactly.
It's about breaking those
mental barriers. And I
mental
think that would be great for me to reach my goals. So you know what? Count me in.
Let's do it. High five. So those are going to be our 1%, and we highly encourage you to go ahead and do your 1%, make some 1% for yourself. Set those goals and set those, think about those small steps you can take every single day to reach those goals. We actually have a couple listeners on our podcast that have sent in some 1%. You'll be able to see them across the screen. You'll see those pop up, but congratulations to you. We love for you guys to hold us accountable, and we also hold you guys accountable as well. Yeah, make sure to do those 1%. And we actually make it super easy on this podcast to get started right after this. We actually have a small template that you can go ahead and pause once you see it pop up, and then just think about these 3 questions. Sweet. So I hope you guys were able to pause that or thought about those 3 questions there, so you can get started on your 1%. And also, if you've thought about that, tell us what it was in the comments below, so we can keep you accountable for those goals that you set for yourself. We're really trying to build a community of like-minded individuals, like people who just love to improve life just a little bit, just get the most out of life. So that's definitely the community that we're trying to build, and we'd love you to be a part of it. So go ahead and comment that below as well.
Yes, please comment down below, and don't forget to do something. Peace.